Hello, a question has come up in one of the Buddhist meditation groups that we're active in, an interfaith question that I thought I'd try to respond to in this video. The question was asked by a man in the United States who wanted to know, actually I'm assuming it's a man, I really don't know for sure, but the question was, can a Christian meditate? And what he was wanting to know, he or she wanting to know basically, is that this person practiced meditation and was feeling a benefit from it as far as calming the mind, but this person also said that he didn't use meditation for prayer, in that he thought that his own particular Christian practice of prayer was of greater benefit than what meditation was in prayer. But he was wanting to know, basically, can a Christian practice meditation, and at the same time being very careful to say, I'm not doing it because I'm Buddhist, I'm doing it for other reasons. And this has elicited a lot of responses from the meditation group that this question arose in. And I thought I'd like to weigh in with my 2 cents on it. First of all, I would have to say that as a not a Christian, but as a follower of Jesus Christ, I cannot see how people who call themselves Christian can avoid meditation. That if you're trying to live out the gospel, meditation is something that one should be doing just as a natural consequence of trying to follow the gospel. You know, in the gospel accounts, there are several instances in which Jesus gets up early in the morning before the sun even gets up, and he goes off to a quiet place to pray. And it's stated in the English translations of the gospel that he gets up to pray. But in my own prayer life, meditation plays a very big role in prayer. And I can't imagine Jesus going out in the middle of the wilderness to spend several hours just to say, just to pray to God in the sense that a lot of people understand prayer, and that is the prayer of petition. I think is the more common understanding of prayer, where people have a need and they say to God, well, God, you know, my wife is sick, we need a miracle here, finances are tight, we need some more money, give us this day our daily bread, we're running out of bread, I would like a new job, I would like a new car, I would like a better house in the suburbs, and just a long list, as it were, like a Christmas list. That's basically, to me, what a prayer of petition is. But prayer, properly understood, is not simply that. What prayer is, in my understanding anyway, is telling God, okay, what your needs are. These are my needs. And then after you've stated that very simply, very short and sweet, spend some time listening to God. Because I believe in my own prayer life that I talk to God, and that if I spend time in silence, listening, that God will answer, either with a, understand, or simply by saying yes or no, or I like Jimmy Carter's take on it, that God always answers prayer. Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no, and sometimes it's a you gotta be kidding response. But God does answer prayer, at least in my experience of prayer. But we have to take the time to listen to the Almighty, whatever we call the Almighty. If it's God, reality, higher power, many different names for this ultimate reality. I call it God, but other people think differently. But getting back to the main point of the question, meditation should be a very strong point of Christian practice. And that brings me to the second point of my response, is that many people treat Christianity as if there's only one form of Christianity. And that is false. There are many different forms of Christianity. There have been many different forms of Christianity since the early days of Christianity, since even before Christianity was called Christianity. Paul in his letter to the Corinthians says, some say I follow Paul, others say I follow Peter, others say I follow Apollos, and still another says I follow Christ. And there are many different schools of Christian thought, going back as early as the middle part of the 1st century. And now in the 21st century, you've got your Catholic Church, you've got your Protestant Church, and within the Catholic Church you've got different schools of Catholicism. Within the Protestant churches you've got different schools of Protestantism. You've got the Orthodox Christianity that goes back is as ancient, if not more ancient, than the Catholic form of Christianity. Protestant schools go back about 500 years. And then you've got the schools of Christianity that are just now starting to emerge in the 21st century, called appropriately enough the emergent church or the emerging church. And these are people of the Protestant, evangelical Protestant school who are beginning to pick up the gospel. And I'm talking about the gospel not according to Paul, but the gospel according to Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and yes, even John, the 4 canonical gospels. And they're beginning to say, hey, why don't we live this way? I mean, pretty radical stuff. Jesus said, take care of the poor, take care of the sick, take care of the hungry. And for years, people using the preachings of Paul have just said, just believe in Jesus and everything's going to be okay. Jesus never said that. In the gospel, Jesus said, you've got to take care of the sick. You've got to take care of the poor. You've got to actually practice ethical behavior, which to our Buddhist brothers and sisters is going to sound pretty familiar, right? Because that's what the Buddha taught. Ethical behavior has never been detached from the real gospel of Jesus Christ. And what I call true Christianity, to me, is what I would refer to as an awakened form of Christianity, or at least an awakening form of Christianity. A Christianity that is free of the strong doctrinalism and dogmas. A Christianity that seeks to go back to the original gospel message and try as best we can to live that out. A Christianity that is awake to the realization that we are all brothers and sisters, children of a common God or a common reality, and that we are supposed to live together in this life, learn from one another in this life, teach one another in this life. And you can't do that by simply saying, I'm saved and you're not because I believe in Jesus and you don't, therefore you're going to hell. That's not awakened or awakening Christianity. That is a false form of Christianity. I realize I'm going to stir some people up with that remark, but to me, true Christianity is living out the gospel. And as Jesus said, come to me, all ye who are heavy burdened, and I shall give you rest. God bless. That concludes this video.